Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. I know I see Aphrodite and Stephen already.
Yep.
Woohoo. Awesome.
Mhm.
We got 3 people watching already. Never ceases to amaze me that you guys wait on me like that.
Right?
Well, we are here today with the absolutely lovely DL TIllery. Thank you again for indulging the crazy girl with the green lights on the internet.
Of
I appreciate
course.
that.
Yes, Mr. Morningstar in the
He
comments.
is.
Hey
Yes,
there.
Mr. Morningstar is here. Celeste is here, Bookbound Weirdo.
Hi.
Awesome. So happy to see everyone. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me and Miss Tillery.
Yep.
Y'all don't even know. We were behind the scenes. We've already talked about music and dance, and I already am so much more just infatuated with her. Y'all get ready because she's 10,000 times more interesting than I ever have been. So, oh my gosh, and look, she even wore green for me today.
Yeah, I was like, let me get my green on for PAX over here. Let me get my green on.
That's too sweet. Thank you.
Of course.
Oh my goodness, we got Essie Martins. Are you familiar with her? She has a poetry book out.
Oh,
You
really?
would
I'll
you
have
would
to
like
check it
her.
out. I
Oh
will
my
have to check
goodness,
it out.
hang on here. You got to see the cover of this
I'm
thing.
all about buying the books.
You got to see the cover of this thing. See, y'all see I'm professional. Y'all can see my back.
That's
Y'all see?
okay.
Y'all see how professional? Let's see here. There it is. There it is. This is all my poetry stuff. Check out that cover. I
Yes.
feel like you'll appreciate that.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I
you'll appreciate
definitely
that.
do.
Yeah. I just want to. We'll just sit that right there. Actually, who knows? But yeah, you would like her. You
Oh,
you
I'm
guys share the
sure. I
same
have to
flavor.
pick that book up actually.
You guys share the same flavor. You both have that dark poetry down, just
Yeah.
down.
Let's go. I want to check that out now.
Voices from the Mausoleum. Oh, hello. Oh,
Hello. Good
she is
morning.
another one that I have recently found. I was telling you're the same way. It's like the YouTube algorithm. They need to step it up because I
They
should not.
really do. It's terrible.
I should not have taken a
You
whole
can't
book
see
for me to
all the
find
cool
you.
people. Like
I
you can't
know.
find any cool people. Like where's everybody at? Like hiding, man.
Right, right. Oh, and Nim is here.
Hi,
Hey,
Nam. Hi.
Nim. She was my very first. She was my guinea pig guest for my streams.
Yes, I seen that stream.
Oh, there you go. After she is awesome. I
Thank
already
you,
agree with you,
love.
and we ain't even been streaming 5 minutes yet. That's awesome. Love it. Well, guys, like I said, she's already blown me away behind the scenes because we've been talking about music. We could have been
Yeah.
friends in high school.
For real, right?
Yeah,
Been like the two cool chicks.
exactly,
Everybody
exactly.
side eyeing us because we're tall.
No, I love it. I love it. Oh,
Thank
cool.
you.
She says love with the green lipstick.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a makeup thing. I
Oh
have
no,
a makeup problem as well. I have a
I
lot
got
of
you.
apparently problems apparently, but makeup has become one of them. I have so many palettes. You know, you can never have too many
No,
eye
you
color
can't. No,
palettes.
you can't.
But I have to make sure when I get my palettes that let me see. I have a palette here that has like every freaking color in it. But then I have a Tetris palette too. But
A
I'm a video
Tetris
gamer
palette?
too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that came out. I was all over. But this palette is the one I used today, and it has like
Oh,
greens,
cool.
all the colors. So I use like this whole line here
Right,
for my
right.
makeup
What
today.
is that? Is it Morphe or?
This is this one you can get it right on Amazon. This one's called Exotic Flavors by
Oh, cool.
Yukabe.
Oh,
I
that's
got it off of
awesome.
Amazon. It's actually pretty good price, and the colors are really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's really good. And the Tetris one has a green in it, but I use the Tetris one because I'm a game nerd. But
You game nerd too? Oh my
I am.
gosh.
But if
I
you
love
look
it.
behind me,
Is that
all the
are all those games?
yeah, those first like 3, 4 shelves, like those are tall bookcases, and I have a short bookcase, and on this side over here is my Switch stuff, like see all the red. But I have like 700 video games physical. I ain't counting my digital too much.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, I've been into that since I was like a little kid too, so
I love it.
that's never gonna
Love
stop. But yeah,
You
the
are so
Tetris one is kind of cool.
multifaceted.
Look what they do. They give you like the Tetris pieces and
To
tell
like
you
them
what
with different
colors.
looks.
Right. It's so funny. So
That is cute.
so yeah,
That is really
I'm a
cute.
Aphrodite will tell you I have a makeup issue too. So
Aphrodite, you gonna come on here? I can add you to the stream. You can give us.
yeah, really. Like she knows I have a lot of issues.
Oh wow, she said you've been drawing her to the dark side. I've now written 2 scary tales because of knowing her.
Right, she
That'll
has, and she's really
happen.
good at it too. So I'm like, yes, come to the dark side.
That'll happen. What do those memes say? Like, come to the dark side, we have cookies.
That's right. We do have cookies. You don't know what the filling will be, but we do have
Oh
cookies.
my god. I love it. It's blood. It's blood.
It's blood. It could be blood. It could be all kinds of stuff. We don't know, man. Surprise cookies.
Surprise. Not a problem if it makes you smile. Amen to that, Celeste.
That's right. That's right. My mind, I have too much creative stuff going on in my head just to be like one type of thing.
I don't even have the same color eyes. So.
I know, girl. Listen, I be jelly of the people wearing the eye contacts. I'm like, I really want to get me some of them.
Oh,
I'm
they're
like,
so
I'm also like, I don't know if I want to put it in my eye. I'm like the Mr. Gore, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to touch my eye. Like, but I really want to try them, so it looks freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it. I can now just be like, so.
Wow. So you gotta teach me now. Teach me the ways.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I can do it without like messing up my eyeliner now. Even
What?
It used to be like,
you're a pro. You're a pro now.
Oh, Celeste is like in your Tetris palette.
Yeah, man.
No damn dolls. Does Aphrodite have a thing against scary dolls?
Dude, like Aphrodite has a list of things she's scared of. I actually be trying to be like, what aren't you afraid of? But yeah, like she's seen. Oh, did you see the trailer for Megan?
Yes, I did. Dude, I did see that.
I was laughing so bad because I was thinking about Aphrodite while I was looking at it because she's like, dolls and children are definitely on my list of no. I think it's a mixture of both of those.
It is, yeah, that's true. It is.
I'm waiting for that one because I was laughing when she started dancing. I'm like, she's doing TikTok dance.
But she don't like aquatic creatures either.
No, she's very much away. Those are the worst. I always mess with her. I'm like, she thought she was having like a bad day, and I was like, listen, just look at it this way: you're on land, and sharks don't walk on land yet. So.
Amen. Yet. Oh, you had to add yet.
Of course.
Bad is Right is here. Welcome. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, like I said, I hope y'all settle in. This might be a 3-hour stream because we already have a lot in common, and we ain't even started on the poetry yet. So
we haven't.
No, but honestly, coming out of our backstage conversation, we were talking about music, and she mentioned Korn, guys. She mentioned Korn, and him.
Yeah, him. Oh my god.
We'd have totally been like the girls listening to music under the bleachers or something. Facts. But Tell me, do you think, because we were talking about like how your writing style has changed, did that influence, like, do you think your music influences you, or do you think it's just like all, like you said, you have multiple interests? Do you think it all just converges?
It may very well have influenced me. And I mean, I listen to a lot of music too, and we talked about the dance thing, and that's why I'm very versatile with the type of music that I listen to. My favorite, of course, is my favorite, so that I just like to listen to whenever. And of course, that's metal and alternative rock and dark music and stuff like that. But like being a dancer, I kind of listen to everything because really the words matter to me a lot. And that's probably because it's my poetry brain.
Right. I was just going to say that.
So I'm like listening to these lyrics, and the lyrics connect with me, I'm probably going to like the song. So that's why I can really kind of like any style of music if the music resonates with me doing its lyrics. I even do like music that is instrumental, because I do love classical music and stuff like that too.
Of course.
Which I can really connect with stuff. I love the violin and cello, which I always wanted. I have a violin, which I wanted to purchase a cello, but I wanted to teach myself because I mess with the acoustic guitar and electric guitar, of course, because the metalhead.
Wow.
And I sing too because I love singing.
Well, you got a beautiful voice. If you have not heard her reading, it's so good. And there's one that I pulled out actually just as a wonderful example. Your very last one, Treats.
Yes, Treats for Halloween.
Oh my gosh, y'all! If you, I will have to, after the stream, I will link it down below. You just need. It's like velvet. Your readings are gorgeous. So I can only imagine your voice must be beautiful too. Yeah,
I really love singing, and the darker stuff is like so that, like we were talking about how some of my poetry has changed for sure. I mean, my writing's changed because that tends to happen when you're a writer. But like the poetry, I go back and pull out my poetry books, which I haven't pulled them out in a while. And it's funny, when I was about 19, 20, and I was working at Toys R Us, the infamous store that no longer exists.
Right.
And I was working at Toys R Us, and I had made friends with the people there, of course. I always have the people that I end up taking with me when I leave. And they bought me a black bound book for my birthday, and it was like the old style paper inside of it, and I
Ooh, oh yeah,
filled
yeah.
it up with poetry. And I was like 19 when I had that, and I think it's part. That means it probably has about 120 something poems in that book alone. I
Wow.
was like, "Where is that book?" I mean, that was a minute ago, you know.
Right, right, yeah.
That was like 20 something. That was almost 20 years ago. So I have it still because I'm a big book collector too. Well, I say
Uh-huh.
book collector because I don't get rid of them, but I have like about 5,000 books.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, it's a little lot.
Wow.
So try to imagine finding that poetry book in
in that in that
in that
that big
craziness. So
library that
as
you
I
have,
have a
yeah.
little issue sometimes because since I'm going to move and get a house built, and I want to have a personal library. Every house I've lived in, I've had a room designated to my library because I have
Oh,
too many
cool.
books. So imagine trying to find that one book in all those
Right.
books.
You'd be at
So
it for
I was like, I
days.
want to find that book for the stream, but I was like, yeah, girl, good luck. Like you haven't seen it since you moved here 5 years ago, so good luck with that anyway.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. Well, I
But
tell you,
yeah,
we've got a lot of people talking about like they yeah, wanted to dying to hear her read out loud.
oh yeah, of course, I
Oh, and
plan
Nim
to.
says she loves to hear your music inspirations.
Oh
Cool.
yes,
Yeah.
I have, I guess, as far as that's concerned, it really will depend. Sometimes I will just listen to some classical music or something like that. Like I really do like the cello and I really like the violin and just the mixture of different instruments. Sometimes that could get my mind going. I'll sit down. Well, poetry is so easy for me. Like
Really?
I find it so easy. Like all the videos I've put out so far, it's only like I think we're only up to episode 4 or 5 of the
I
Lyric
think yeah, I
Mistress.
think Treats was 4. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you're right.
so when I write those, I come down usually like the day before it would go up, is always the last Sunday of the month, and I write a poem for it. And then I
Mm.
put the whole video together in Canva because that's my place.
Of course, yeah,
And
Canva
I
saves
love
all of our
Canva,
asses. Yeah,
right?
Canva's amazing.
It's so helpful. So
Yeah.
I usually just I put my phone on and I record me reading it after I write it. And I don't know, the words just flow. Sometimes I don't know what I want to say. I'm a somewhat my poetry is like a rhymer style,
Mhm.
obviously. But it's just like it just comes to me, whatever the feeling is at the time. And then I'm really into the Laird of Mystery is all dark romance type of
Right.
poetry. So that's more sometimes you could probably try to decipher it, which I love for people to try to decipher what I was talking about.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll be like, just like, was that what about a vampire man? I said, maybe it was.
Just leave it up to them. That's
Just
the
leave it up
beautiful
to
part of
them.
it, though. That is the beautiful
Yes.
part. It does interest me though because and guys, in case you don't know, she is also an author. I've read Fractals, and she just had one of her stories for free
Yes.
over Halloween, so I got to read those too.
Yep.
So yeah,
Rumors
so
on. Yep.
even though I know we're here for the poetry, she is also an author as well. So you guys should check that out as well. I loved Fractals. I loved that.
Oh, cool. Glad
It's
you
going to be
liked
in a
it.
video. I have like a YouTube social media book video. I've done a few of them
Awesome.
in the past, so that one will be in there eventually.
Awesome.
Maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. I don't have my
I
book in
do
front of me.
usually put like little Easter eggs like in the back. I usually put like little extras in the back when you buy the paperback because I like to try to make them a little bit longer for
Oh,
people to
cool.
buy. So
Yeah.
if you buy Fractals paperback, actually, let me see. I think Fractals paperback has 2 of my flash fictions in the back.
Can I ask, how did you get the artwork for Fractals on the front? Did you do that?
Oh no, I am actually getting into starting to make covers, but I did not. That's and Aphrodite will contest to this. I have another problem, and it's called book cover issues. Like I'm like subscribed to a lot of Facebook cover designers
Mhm.
groups, so I really don't shouldn't be in there ever. So my wallet and my bank's like, you should buy a lot of covers, girl. How many stories you got? I'm like, I don't have that many out yet, but they coming. But if I see something to really catch my eye, then I'll purchase the pre-made, or I'll get somebody like with Room Within. I had it custom made for that story. This one was a pre-made was a
It's
pre-made.
perfect. It's
But it
so
was
perfect for the
perfect for it
story.
because the
Yeah,
transformation, being a butterfly, and then the cold and stuff like that. So this
absolutely.
really worked. So I was like, oh, I got to have that,
Yeah,
you
no, it
know,
was that's why I wanted to ask you because it's so spot on. It fits the book
right?
and the whole story so
But
well.
that's
Yeah.
that kind of thing, like the chance. Like that's why I go in the cover groups and I just look. Well, they have sales and all kinds of things, and I'm always like, well, I can. I know me. I'm going to write a lot, so I'm like, I can use this cover, so that's
Right.
not a big deal. And a lot of the times, kind of like when I do my poetry and kind of like when I write a story, I may see a cover and then it just made a whole story or a poem come
Around
in
it.
my head.
Ah, that's
So
awesome. So it's
I
like
see covers
inspiration.
and it's over. Like then I'll come with a story. I've bought covers that don't have a story for them, but then by seeing that cover, I came up with a story. So
I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
I think
it's
that's
like
awesome.
so I
It's
have
like
like
a
a cover
inspiration.
issue. But yeah, if you have the paperback of this, it's two flash fictions in the back of here that are horror, and then in Room Within paperback is actually one of my poems. You can't see it,
Whoa.
but one of my poems, you can't see it, but it's one of my poems in here from it was in an issue of a goth. Now I've written for two goth magazines.
Whoa.
I wrote for one goth magazine, Carpal Nocturnal.
I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I wrote for a while. I used to review like metal music and goth bands, and I did some of my poetry was like published in there a few times. And that my poem was in this one. This is Nocturnus, which is a newer magazine that started, and it just has like some different like models in it,
Oh, I love
which
that.
really cool stuff. She did like zombie stuff, and then they did a cover on me um by right here, the Mistress of Horror. So one of my poems is next to that, and then they did a bio on me on this side over here. So that's what Crimson Cascade, which I read on my channel on Layer Mistress.
Yeah.
That's where that first was published at, was in that
Whoa.
magazine. So I have my poetry around a few different places, and my poetry, I was first published with poetry, which I
Mhm.
always think is fun to tell people that when I was 19. I did like try to put some stuff out, and it was traditionally published in like two poetry collection books or something like that. And you get an award if they pick you, type of situation. So of course I was excited at 19, like, oh my God, you know.
Oh yeah, I'd have been. I would have flipped out
I
now.
would have flipped out. But it's like at 19, I mean, I couldn't just buy the stuff. So you had to buy the book. I never got a chance to get copies with my stuff in it, but it's floating out there somewhere. The
Right.
company, I think around when I was probably like 25, they went out of business because I guess they have too much money going on. But I did get published like twice or three times with some of my poetry and their stuff. And I actually have one of their books, but it's not one of the ones with mine in it. Um, but that was when I first was published with my poetry. So I was kind of like known as a poet before people knew that I had been writing like short stories and fantasy when I was through my teens. Like
Right.
stuff that I never even went back to look at, besides to like criticize. I was like, oh my God, girl, who are you writing? What is this?
We all do that. We all do
We
that.
all do that. So
We're all our biggest own critics.
we are. So yeah, I was ecstatic when I did get published then, but my stuff, like I said, had changed so much since I
Now, do
went
you
to my
think that
darker
just
stuff.
comes from like kind of growing and getting more
Yeah.
interests, or what do
Yeah,
you
your
think?
interests start getting integrated. I mean, not that everybody does that, because you can have a person who's like, let's say they could be a poet of a very specific style and very specific genre of poetry, and could be a person that's their personality and their style is completely opposite of what they write,
Right.
you know. So, but I tend to integrate everything that I am into my stuff. So I just like I told someone else, and I was on another stream about one of my poems, that the first ones that I wrote when I was between 12 and 13. And it was because my father had passed away.
Oh,
And I wrote that poem, and it actually it was actually one of the poems that I sent in when I was trying to get accepted into college, because I was homeschooled. So I pretty much got accepted to college when I was like 17. But I
wow.
ended up, they said, you're too young, you have to wait until blah 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 age or whatever the heck.
Mhm.
So I a poem I had written then, that was the first one that I kind of started getting into poetry around like 12 years old. So poetry was like, it's like my old love, because I
Right.
started doing it
It's been
first.
with you for so long.
Yeah, a
Even,
long time.
from, terrible tragedies like passing.
Exactly. It kind of can bring that kind of stuff out, you know.
It
And
does, yeah.
being in Maryland, where Edgar Allan Poe is from, and him being my favorite poet was just like, very
Oh
easy
yeah,
to connect
you
with.
were just in the absolute eye of the storm there. That's
Exactly.
beautiful.
So, and his stuff has be kind of dark, so that kind of can resonate with my stylization and that just there because of that. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's see what they're saying in the chat. See, this is how you know that I like you, because I start seeing like new comment and it's like, hey, look over here. Well, no, we're talking about music and poetry.
But hold on.
Oh, hold on a minute. Uh, let's see. What do
After
y'all
I don't be
mean
telling
talking
my
about
secrets.
a video show? Not really bad as rad. I did like a clean my bookshelf. Oh, Super Blomper's here. Hey. No, I don't. Y'all wouldn't care about this is my books right here. This is all poetry. So,
Yeah, poetry.
what you got on those shelves? Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. I love that, Aphrodite. Oh my gosh. Art is always up to beautiful interpretation. I love
Facts.
that.
She's right.
Absolutely. Oh
And
God, she's
she's
calling you
telling
out.
on me.
Big problem. She needs a 12-step program. She's calling you out.
She is. Yeah, she does that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try to find that magazine. Looks very cool. I
Yeah,
agree. It
Nocturnus. They're
does.
really cool. They're actually on Instagram too. That's where they found me at. And I'm actually friends with a lot of the models that ended up being in the magazine. And found some of the one chick, she does such amazing freaking pictures. Like anybody that's goth or into dark stuff would be totally into her shots,
Oh,
man.
I love looking at stuff like that for
And I
inspiration.
even did modeling for a while too.
Did you really? Oh my God,
Yeah,
you just did it all, man.
I did. I'm into.
Love
I
it.
was into anime and manga when I was growing up
Hmm.
because I loved the Japanese culture at the time, and I was like really into that. So I got into cosplay, and then as I got older, I started doing some modeling and did some like modeling cosplay and stuff like that. And
What did you cosplay?
I've cosplayed. I don't be seeing this. Was it Disney? It's the little girl with like the fiery red hair, and she has a bow.
Oh,
I think it's
Brave.
Brave. I've done Brave. I did a photo shoot for Brave. I
Yeah.
did my own style and redesign of Ursula. I've done a photo shoot with Ursula. I have to let you see
Oh.
the pictures sometimes. They're all online anyway. And I did what else did I do? I did like one I called the Red Sorceress.
Hmm.
I did that one. Who else did I do? I've done so many different types. I did like a vampire nymph. I just made a lot of my own costumes because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
also a
awesome.
seamstress. So I had a costume business for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, so I
Wow.
did. It was called Mad Designs, and I had it on Etsy for a while. One of my friends, who was like always one of my best customers, because he's into like Marvel and DC, which I was a big comic book fan myself growing up. And I did. There was no freaking like design for it. You may have heard of the bat that laughs, which is like a mixture of Batman and the Joker,
Uh-huh,
and it's
uh-huh, yeah,
very
I actually
very
have.
creepy and goth. People love it.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to do
Yeah,
that for
they do.
Halloween. I
Uh-huh.
made the whole costume. He bought the mask, and I made the entire costume.
Wow.
That costume, I wanted to cry a few days, like because it was hard, man. Like
I can only
it was
imagine.
difficult, and he was like wanted real leather, so I had to get recycled leather because his wife would have killed him if he would have paid the original price of what the
For
real
the
leather would have
leather,
been.
yeah.
He's like, I don't want to wear this to my funeral. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like Heather will kill you. But I ended up making him that costume. It was so much work, but I have pictures of that. That was really fun. That was one of my
Oh,
favorite
I bet.
projects to
I
do.
actually found out about that the same time. I don't know why these coincide in my head, but I found out about that the same time that I first watched The Killing Joke.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, did you ever listen to The
Yes.
Killing Joke? Yeah,
Yes.
I thought you might have. So yeah, so both of those are really linked in my head every time I
Yes.
see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at so many pictures of that freaking like comic book and stuff at the time because I was trying to like, being a seamstress, you're trying to see it from every angle and stuff like that. Then I had to draw the patterns because they didn't exist. I looked up people who made the costume, but it was like a few people and it just wasn't close enough for my taste. So
Right.
I went through it with that. I broke a sewing machine.
Oh my God.
I broke it, so I had to get it repaired. I was like, no.
Well, let's see. Nim says that it is damn impressive. First published at 19. That is awesome. Let's see, Mr. Star. Not to skip ahead, but he says he loves Beneath the Dark from the
Oh,
Lurking
thank
anthology.
you.
Perfect opening. I agree. It is. It's perfect opening to that book.
Yeah, I'm
Couldn't have
reading the
picked a
whole
better.
book now, so of course I get to read Mr. Morningstar's
Oh,
thing.
you're gonna
His is
love
like
it.
right after mine, yeah. So
It
I think
is. Yeah,
right
it's like
there.
right there at the beginning. How
Yeah.
far have you gotten?
I just started. Actually, I just started on his actually.
Oh,
So I was
cool.
like, Yes. Oh my goodness. I run myself thin sometimes.
No, I
I'm just
got
gonna
you. I
put that out
understand.
there. I'm reading
I know.
everybody's stuff. I'm alpha and beta reading for one author friend. I am reading one of Aphrodite's stories right now for the third time because she's doing some stuff to it. And then I'm reading another author's to give him a review. And then it's another one I'm reading. So sometimes I take weeks and I try to help out other authors and do
Of
reviews for them,
course.
read their
Yeah.
stuff. But it's like I got a lot of stuff going on, so it's a little
Yeah.
hard.
You can stretch yourself really thin.
Really,
Definitely. I've
really.
been there.
If I was butter, I'd be spread across a lot of different pieces of bread right now.
If I was butter. I don't know why that story. If I was butter.
I know if I was butter, I would be over.
Beautiful artwork. Really appreciate a great book cover. I enjoy displaying them on my shelves. Yes, yes. The
Yes,
Batter's Red, you would love that.
yes.
That's the first thing that I noticed when I saw Fractals, and then once I read it, I was like, wow, that is just damn perfect. It really does fit the story. And I don't want to say a whole lot about either one of your stories because they are short. And I don't want to give anything
Yeah,
away, but yeah, I liked it a lot.
I'm
If
really
you
into the beast. I'm into beast horror. I write a lot of that because I think
mhm.
werewolves get forgotten
You
a
know, I have
lot.
well, you're gonna love Lurking in the Dark then. There's
Yeah, I
like
know it
3.
has like, which is funny about Lurking Dark. I originally submitted a story specifically for a Lurking in the Dark and a poem. So I
Oh,
guess it's a good
wow.
thing I also submitted the poem because my story Ladrega didn't get accepted.
Well, I love the fact that there was poetry because that's what made you jump out at me because
Right.
not long after I was like, "Wait a second, what do you mean there's a dark poet? She's on YouTube. What?
Like what's happening? Where was she at, man?
Well,
Where was she
exactly.
at?
That's what I was telling Voices in the Mausoleum. I'm like, your name has mausoleum in it. What are you doing, algorithm? You got Mistress
Right?
of the Horror over
Yeah, they don't
here.
tell us about nobody.
Honestly, I'm so proud to be in the anthology. Not because my tale, because Regina felt like I was good enough to be included with writers like DL Amen. Yeah,
Yeah, her tale
absolutely.
was really good in that one. I think you were in the second one, Aphrodite. I got down here somewhere. Oh yeah, Served Cold.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
Served
so cool.
Cold.
Mhm.
Which the covers are freaking awesome every time I
Yeah,
look at them.
they're really
They're
cool. I
really
love how they're
cool.
so cohesive with that skeleton.
They
Yeah,
are, right? A skeleton,
they're
he's
kind of
always gonna
cute.
be a part, man.
Yeah. I haven't read anything yet, but it's on my TBR.
Yeah.
Cool.
She I mean, you if Aphrodite reads your story and you write horror, she must really like you, man. She gets scared everything.
Let's see. Definitely different from my writing. Hey, that's
Yeah.
all right. Oh, we got another one here. MP. Great to hear another writer who loves Edgar Allan Poe's poetry. Most people just rate his short stories, but I think his poetry is unjustly looked down on by a lot of people,
Apart
apart
from the
from The
Raven.
Raven.
Yep, very true. Oh, and I
Yep.
have one of his books. Do I have it over
Oh, do you
here?
have Immortalized in Ink?
I do. Actually, if you look back there on the shelf, that's one of my Edgar Allan Poe
Oh,
books. That's
cool,
him on the
cool.
cover. I have the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a look. I don't need to rebuy the book, but there's a version on freaking Amazon that's black, red, and gold, and I was like, I just must have it.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
just must have it.
pretty.
Those are perfect colors together. So I'm like, I'm really gonna have to rebuy it.
Yeah, black and red goes very well together. It's very high on my list. Right after green and possibly purple.
Yeah, purple is my thing. So I'm actually gonna get me some purple lights. Purple indigo is my favorite color, but purple, like
Hey, this
everything.
time of year is the way to do it because they got orange and green and
They
purple
did. They
all
got
for Halloween.
everything.
Hmm.
My mom wants to do her whole Christmas tree in green this year, so I bought her green lights,
Ah, cool.
green like candles for the window. I was like, Mom, you know that like green is more like our horror color. Like like Halloween time, you see
It's
like
like
green and
acid.
orange. She was like, What? I
Hmm.
never heard that green was for that. I'm like, you need to learn.
Oh yeah. The appropriate shade. It's like acid green. Yeah.
Thank you. It
That's
is.
my favorite. Is acid green. Now I don't dig on like hunter green and all that. No,
Yeah,
it's
but the
acid
acid
green.
green
Yeah.
is nice. That's the one, like the really bright one, because you
Uh
know
huh.
it's like it's gonna
Yeah.
melt me.
Exactly. Oh, and MP says, "Wow, DL TIllery has done everything." Yes,
I do a
she
little bit of
has.
everything. I'm like, okay, girl, you done a little
Wait a minute.
bit.
What? Aphrodite, a cosplayed as steampunk version of Rose
She
Quartz?
did, man. She loves some rose quartz.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he says Ursula rocks.
Yeah, I love
Nim, a
Ursula.
woman of many talents. Yes.
Yeah, I've been
I
doing this
was
stuff.
impressed in backstage. I
She
was
was like,
already
what happened? I was like,
impressed.
yeah, I've been doing stuff. I had to retire from some of it because it was just too much.
That damn Aphrodite.
Yeah,
All
her.
right, MP. Agree with werewolves usually getting forgotten in most things. I think
They
it's
do.
because those stories are hard to write well. Surprised there were 3 good ones in Lurking in the Dark. I was
Yeah.
shocked, and I'm interested to see when you get to them since you're a werewolf fan. I was
Yeah.
shocked that out of the three of them, you really had this like drastic difference. I didn't think
Yes.
that there was a whole lot. They weren't similar at all, except for the fact, oh, it's a werewolf. That's kind of where the similarity ended.
Right,
And I
exactly.
really liked that. I really thought it was well done.
I think it's cool when everyone just, goes and runs with it and not just
Mhm.
try to stick to the status quo.
Right.
Like with my story Ladrega, which I am going to release it still.
Yeah,
I'm
please,
gonna put it
definitely.
in one of my collections that's based from my world for my debut novel that's going to be coming out next year. And I have my werewolves are called Lycans, kind of based
Like
off the
friends.
Lycans. Yeah.
Like in, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like based off the Lycans. But this specific story, Ladrega, is what he is. Now, Ladrega is a mixture of one of the other creatures in my world, which is called a daggeroo worm. And the
Wow, that
daggeroo,
already sounds terrifying.
I know it is her. For Aphrodite, be like, no, la 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 la, because she knows what it is. But it's a mixture of of the daggeroo worm and a lycran. That's what the Ladrega is. And
Oh my
the main
gosh.
character is the Ladrega. And it's kind of like a slimy mixture type of werewolf look. And what it does, you
Do
don't
you want
know
to
that
give it
it's
up?
been, you don't, yeah, I can give it up. You don't know what that it's been there because of what it does when it devours you. So there's like a acid type of effect that cleans the blood up of the scene because it's quite messy when it eats you. So it's like a kind of think about if the creature could just absorb all the blood and air that it from its murder, and there's
Oh my
no
god.
evidence left because it kind of devours you, like the whole jaw unhinges and it gets pretty much swallow you whole. So, but the main character tries to get into his head that, like, yeah, like it's kind of like an awakening thing. He didn't know he was a Ladrega
Right.
because his father was Lycran and his mother was a free Daggeroo slave. And what a free Daggeroo slave is from a Daggeroo worm absorbing the soul or trying to absorb a human. They do
Oh my
two of those
gosh. Like,
things.
I said this about Book Blather, Dave's story, and just wait, you'll get there in
Yep.
Lurking in the Dark. It fascinates me that somebody can literally come up, and it must be probably like your thing with fantasy, because you see this a lot
Yes.
in fantasy. It
Yes.
fascinates me how people can come up with entire worlds like this and
Yes.
entire new creatures. So
Yeah.
like
It's so
I'm
fun.
just sitting here like in awe because I mean you legit just like made new species.
Yeah, I
Like
love doing that. I
yeah,
don't
I
really
love
want to
that.
base like I want to go into a whole new world, and this stuff is from Cagliostro, which is my debut novel. And it
Mhm.
has the main male lead and there's a female lead. And there's all these other creatures and stuff in this world. And I talked about Cagliostro on my channel a lot, which I think you probably would like it. It's dark fantasy.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'm
I
down for
always
that.
have to kind of integrate, even with my fantasy and stuff, I integrate like some horror and stuff
Right.
like that, and I
Yeah,
really love cosmic horror because HP Lovecraft.
of
So
course. Yeah.
I that stuff is integrated in it. So you're gonna see a lot of like cosmic horror aspects in Cagliostro. And it as it goes, it's a series, so it's gonna be like a 3-part series, but you'll get little spin-offs. Actually, The Room Within and Fractals are in Cagliostro's world. And Room
Whoa.
Within, the female at the end of this, once you
Uh-huh.
find out if you read
The
it,
mhm.
Delida, she is from Cagliostro's book. Like she's from his world. Like she's a character from that world. So the first character you introduce for Cagliostro is Delida.
Really?
So
Well,
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
all these creatures, like even with fractals, all that stuff is like from Cagliostro's world. So all my stuff is connected.
I love that. See, I think that that's wonderful because people, especially like with that fantasy mindset, I think people like that. They like finding the connections and seeing, the different, I guess, views of the world through
Yeah, I
these
like it.
little
I think it's
lenses.
like little Easter eggs. I think it's
Mhm.
like make people like, okay, well, who is this and what? Am I going to see a spin-off of this character? Yeah,
Right.
so the character from Ladrega, once I release it, you'll probably see him again in the
Oh, I love
Cagliostro
it.
series as well. So I like to really do that.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's fun.
Well, let's see. Well, everybody's saying that they can't dance for shit in the comments. uh, all right. Aphrodite says Duncan is her man.
Yeah,
Oh, and
Duncan's one of the side characters.
Nim says the lore is super interesting. I agree. I agree. That is it. I'm just blown away about the. I guess the sheer brain power that it takes to make an entire world like that. You
Right.
know, like I love that. I love
I
it. I
love
think it
watching all
speaks
the
to your
writers
talent.
and reading their stuff. Like one of the biggest writers I have so much respect for is Lord of the
It's okay.
Rings.
Yeah, yeah. J.R. Tolkien.
Thank you.
Tolkien.
J.R. Tolkien,
Mhm.
everybody all with abbreviations.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I really that man, listen, amazing. Like so many people use his stuff like
Mhm.
forever now, like the Elvish language, elves, like everybody just ran with it. Like the
Right.
fact that he made that and now it's just a thing.
Right.
Like when you write fantasy, you're like, well, elves, well, it's him.
Well, you gotta
Well,
be like
Elvish,
this.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's when you think about the fact that you sat there and created a language, created this world down to everyone in said genre is like in your stuff, and you got Forgotten Realms. People make the words like that, and then you got characters, and that it's very. You're right. It's very interesting to see these things create. So I
Right.
hope people keep doing that and not be like, well,
It's been
everyone
done.
has already done it. I'm like, that doesn't mean that you won't make something because no one can write like you.
Right.
It doesn't really matter that it's been
Yes.
done, as they say.
I
But
love that. Nobody can write like you. Nobody's gonna have
yep,
your exact voice.
they're
Yeah,
not,
absolutely.
and it's a fact.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. We got 10 people here. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all guys ready to hear some poetry?
Yeah.
If you will. Do you think
Yes.
you would and of course you can pick whatever you want.
Yes.
Myself, I just have to throw out there, my current obsession is the very first line of Treats.
Yes.
I love that. In the throes of never, I taste you. Ugh.
He's like, what?
It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So that's my current favorite one out of the ones I've seen from you.
Cool.
Oh, I taste you. That was so pretty. That was so pretty. But yes, please, if you would be so kind.
I
Anything you
will
would like to read
read
for anybody?
Crimson Cascade.
Okay, cool. Crimson
I'll read
Cascade.
that one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. When you touched me, I cascaded to a slow death. Fading drops of crimson caressed my throat and chest. We whispered in movement, but your body keeps me in secret, undulated, pumping without release. Betray me not in this ecstasy. Woven fingertips dance all about me. Nothing had yet to happen, not a taste, not a flicker, not even in haste. Coming undone is my final wish. Yes, I am held by the scars above, where you have fallen, faded into bliss. Fold me within, placate me with lace, I pray you. Even as I beg for one taste, grab my hand once again. I float, before I float, lost on the wind. I grace my silk, slick steps down your path. There I am lost and out of breath. Listen closely to the last beats of our hearts before we fade into death.
God, I feel like we just need like a round of applause after something like that. Oh my God.
Thank you.
That's so you do such a good job of capturing like a dark sensuality, I think. I
That's perfect.
really
I'm
do. I
glad that
think
I do. I was like, I just started reading the when I did Lyric Mistress, and that just kind of just happened. I was like,
yeah, you really do.
all
I
right,
think you have such a good way of capturing like because and I've said this in the past. Like to me there's a difference between being sexual and being sensual.
it is
And
true.
the sensual is more interesting, personal opinion.
Yes,
And I think you do a really damn fine job at that.
thank
Like
you.
kind of capturing just like I don't know, just the little nuances of stuff with the language. Oh my
I
gosh.
really get into it, so I kind of just like
Oh, I
fade
love it.
into the poem when
Well,
I'm
and I
reading
think
it.
that really now that I know a little bit more of like your other interests, I can see that like because you almost have to have that for dance. You have to have that to
Yes,
appreciate music. You know,
yes,
you have to have a little bit of sensuality. You're not nobody's going to get up on stage and dance and be a stick. It's not going to work.
yeah.
Like you
It's
have to know
not.
how to move. You
You
know,
do.
so yeah, I
Yep.
can kind of see that bleeding into your poetry a little bit
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, you got some hearts from Celeste.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Nim says applause. Some claps from Celeste. Oh, yeah, the mistress is an immortal. You have such a good friend in Aphrodite. I can
I know.
tell.
I love her.
I can tell. I love how well she supports you already. I like her
Yeah,
just for
she's
that.
awesome.
I like her just for that. That's how you do. That's how you do. You support your friends. Yeah.
Yes, definitely believe that.
Well, I love that. I absolutely love that. So, what do you think as far as like with your poetry? Because it's like you said, it kind of all has this like mistress of the dark kind of sensual nature to it.
Yeah.
Do you think like that's just kind of where your mind goes? Because I know
I
I love your background, like how you just write the poem right then.
yeah, I think that with that style, because the reason why I decided to start Lair of the Mistress was actually originally the show was going to be um me talking about horror stuff and kind of playing off of because some of my um idols are Morticia and Elvira
Of
growing up,
course.
so I really loved them. So watching them, and I think it was I think called Vampira, she had a show. She's
Hmm.
really older ones in black and
Oh
white,
yeah, I know her.
and I liked their idea of their shows with the mist and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like, I wanted to start a show where I talk about horror, and there's a female on here on YouTube that I follow, Maven of the Eventide.
I've seen that
Yeah,
name.
because she does like all horror stuff, and she does very like Victorian dress and stuff when she's doing
Yeah,
that.
I love that.
And so I wanted to do a show where I was doing that type of stuff, talking about horror because I love talking about horror anyway. But then I was like, I'm going to be releasing a dark romance poetry collection. And I was like, I should get people prepared for that since I do so many different types of genres that I write, and I'm predominantly in horror. So let me get them ready for that. So I decided to start Layer the Mistress
Mm.
show so that people can start understanding where the book's going to be coming from.
Now, when do you
Um,
have a like an anticipated release for that, or?
I do. I actually I am planning to try to get it out in the spring next year, so around March or something like that. I would love to hold it until like darker months, like Halloween month.
I was saying you should do it in
Um,
like February. Do like a dark,
yeah,
like a
I
Bloody
could
Valentine
because
kind
it's
of
really playing with like February, March with a release for that. I had the cover created like a long while ago. I didn't know if I was kind of like feeling something else for the cover, so that's why I was kind of holding off. I didn't know exactly how many poems I wanted to put in it because I was playing with like 120. Then I
Whoa.
was playing with like 50, but I have so many already that I haven't like even put out yet. So, and I write so many, like literally I can sit here in an hour and write quite a few many poems.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is so amazing to me.
So
I love that. And you do such a wonderful job about literally guys, if you go like any of her previous videos, you will get that like sensuality and your voice and all the it melds so beautifully together. I
I'm
really
so
do. It's
happy because
amazing.
like one of my first comments on one of the videos was like, "Oh, I love your voice. So your voice is perfect for this." And I was like, "Really?" Because I don't really,
No,
I
it
never,
is. It is. You have a
I never really thought
velvet.
about my voice. I was like, "Hopefully
You
this
don't
sounds
until you make
okay."
videos. You don't until you make videos, and then you got like my butt over here going. Oh, I'm sitting here like reading a poem. Like, okay, all right, you got it. You take the twang away. Take the twang away, Pax. You got stop. Take the twang away. Because I have my words that even when I say it, because I
Right.
don't hear a lot of it, but there are some words that I say. I'm like, no, we're cutting that. I got to redo
You
that.
feel let me redo. Listen, I feel you on that. I've done when I did record like Larry Mr. episodes. That would be like I'd read it and I'd be like, "Oh, girl, you tripped a little bit of that." Because that one line there when I say I
Hmm.
grace my silk slick steps down your path,
Well, the
like when you those two words back to back can be kind of tricky because
yeah,
you'll be
but it makes it beautiful though. It's so good though. I love that like alliteration off of the. I know it's
right.
it's hard as hell to read, but
It
it's great.
is. It is. I was like, listen, girl, you tripping over this a little bit, so I had to do that one twice. But I really do like doing the readings, and they're not. Sometimes they're short and sweet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I usually try to keep them not too, because people attention spans. You don't want to be sitting there reading too long. They'd be
Well,
like, all
right,
right,
right.
I left already. But like I think the minute to under a minute is the sweet spot for people because
Hmm.
they'll more people will get to listen.
Right, right. That's
So
yeah. I agree. I completely. Yeah, most of
yeah,
mine. I don't know. I think most of the ones that I've read, I might have some that go over two,
that's not
maybe.
bad actually. That's still
Yeah,
good. I
maybe.
mean, because if you're into something, I think listening, I have no problem sitting there watching videos that's long, but not everybody's like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Exactly. Well, I
they're
mean,
like,
in
I don't have
today's
time for
world,
you.
our
Like, so,
TikTok
right?
attention span.
The TikTok extension, man. I was kind of surprised when TikTok extended their video thing. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
y'all need to though. I was glad when they did. I was like, I do some of my dance stuff over there too. I just put like
Well, if we
clips and
already have,
stuff.
yeah, she says, Aphrodite says to link one of your dance videos. I will have to remember to do that when I
Oh,
post
I
this.
have
I'll link
darker
it.
stuff that I think the darker community would really like. I have one that I did where I was like, my mom thinks it's funny because I obviously decorate the living room for that. And the one year I did Halloween, girl, when I put this up on TikTok, the one part of the dance near the end of it, I had like
Oh,
I
come
had
on,
people
what?
come in and like say they were mad at me. They were like, "You're going to go to hell." And stuff like I was like actually in the storytelling I was actually going there. So so they were getting like emotional like, "Did you know God?" Actually I do. I know it's kind of weird for you, but actually I'm under known as a Christian goth, which I actually wrote an article about that in one of the old
Mhm.
magazines I was in,
I've
what
read
that was.
articles. Yeah.
And I was like, they were like, you are, they were losing their minds because I
Isn't
at the
it
end of
amazing how like a little bit of black eyeliner and too
right,
much jewelry
and
makes people think you're
I
going to
had
hell?
like my horns on, and I had
Mhm.
my black and purple on, and at the end of the performance, I walk into this black ghost thing that I had hanging, but with the camera and the way it worked, it looked like I disappeared. Which is really
Ah.
cool. I didn't even mean to do that. My mom was like, "Oh my god, you look
It
like
was a beautiful accident.
it just worked." And they were losing their minds. I had to block a few people. They was crazy.
No, yeah, people. I
People,
feel you. I
people
understand.
online be like, listen, we come across all kinds of people online. I don't know.
No, I understand. I'm very lucky in most of my dealings online, but I had a really, and I don't know in what spirit this was said under
Yeah.
one of my videos. It was talking about something like, "Don't worry, kids. If you lose your job at Hot Topic, you can always get on and review books on BookTube." And I was like, you know what? I made that joke, so bravo.
Exactly. Oh man, hot topic. I worked there at one point in my life. I had
Well,
to.
it's an icon, right? At this
Being a
point.
goth, you had to be there, man. You get to dress in your clothes, like
Hmm. You get
the
to live your
platforms walking
beliefs.
around all day.
No, I mean, I don't know if they meant that to be like rude or whatever, but I was
I
like,
don't know, maybe. But
I
hey,
got you. I've said that before.
like
You know,
I'll
like you
take
gotta
it how
laugh
I
at
want
yourself,
to.
right? Oh, here we go. He says, "Blood is my applause." I feel like you appreciate that.
Thank you. I really do. I
Oh,
do.
okay. MP, brilliant reading. After mentioning Poe, J.R. Tolkien, Lovecraft, I'm wondering what DL thinks about the writings of Clark Ashton Smith, Walter de la Mare, and M.R. James. Any
Ooh.
thoughts?
All good. I since I'm so versatile with the different poets and stuff, I really don't have like they were my favorites, the ones I named, but I really like all of these too. That's why I
Cool.
said my collection being so big, I'm like, if you
That's true. You probably
probably
have all of
like
them.
I read everything. Like I'm doing a tour on my YouTube channel that's probably about the episode, I don't remember, 14, maybe it's there. But I've been showing my book collection and it takes forever because I have to go through all the
Oh
bookcases
God,
and show
5,000
each
books. Yeah.
yeah, showing every book. So yeah, you'll see all kinds of authors. And so I really do like I think the only one I haven't actually even read was the Walter D. Lamar.
Walter de la Mare.
That
Yeah.
one I don't think I
Probably
have.
butchering
I've
it.
heard of them. So I that one. But yeah, Clark Ashton Smith, yes.
Oh,
Really like.
cool.
And M.R. James.
Hey, William.
Oh, hey, William, we got some
Oh,
people
Aphrodite,
happening.
did you like the Bloody Valentine thing?
Yes.
You know, and honestly, on that topic, as somebody who, and I've said this in so many of my videos, that doesn't really dig on romance, the fact that I love your like dark poetry so much,
Right.
it speaks. It just that speaks
That's
volumes
good.
because
I'm
I'm not a big
glad.
romance book type person usually. So
Well, the dark romance hmm, can be versatile,
it
so to speak.
can. I love how you worded that in such a classy way. Ah, God, this see, it's like kismet. Absolutely agree that Yale captures the essence of sensual without just being erotic or overtly sexual. Agree, and I love that. I
Thank you.
absolutely love that. And it takes. I mean, it takes class. It takes talent to do that. Honestly, nowadays, because it's so easy just to be like, you know,
Yeah, true.
sensuality takes intelligence.
True. I guess it does. I wasn't aware
Uh,
that that's what was going to happen.
I told you that's why I want you to read my Conlang. I created your voice is per. It is. It's like velvet. It's like velvet.
I'm so
Can I
happy because I'm like, I read this and it's going to sound terrible.
Yeah, no, we're all like that. We're all like that. Trust me. You just say that HorrorTube community is amazing. You guys rock. I agree. You're
Thank
the best
you.
community in the entire world. A best community in the entire world. You ain't gonna find better people than the HorrorTubes. Hello and good morning. Ooh, Crimson Ghost, I love your name. Just shared out my community tab, gave you a like. Hope everyone has a great Sunday. Well, appreciate that. We both
Thank
appreciate
you.
that, Crimson. Thank you. Thank you. Is there a little devil on your? I love that. Oh, it's the Misfits logo. Hell yeah. All right. Semblance alliterating S's is always hard to read out loud. Well, MP, my dumbass didn't even know there was a name for that. So thank you.
Yes, yeah, it is. Like, you're very, very right.
Because they don't understand that goth is an era, not a damn religion.
Thank you.
Aphrodite.
I know, we gotta teach people, man. I gotta teach the people.
Everyone thinks their own voice sucks, but anyone with a different accent always thinks it sounds better than the person. So, yeah, but MP, you have the cool accent. You're from the UK.
Yeah, I know, right? So people from the UK always be saying that. I'll be like, you have the best accent. I found out we all do have accents because I did work at GameStop for some years, like 4 or 5 years.
I worked at GameStop for a while.
Did you? Of course, I'm a gamer. I had to have worked there too.
I worked there for about 2 years back in high school.
Yeah, I loved GameStop. And I used to be some really cool people coming to GameStop. And one of my clients was from Britain. And like when I first met him, I was like, "Oh man, I love your accent." And he's like, I can't hear my accent. He said, "I love your accent." I'm like, "I have an accent?" Like I was shocked.
Until I moved from where I'm from originally, I didn't think I did. People were like, "Oh, you don't speak with very much of a country accent." And then I moved here, and they're like, "Where the hell are you from?"
Right? I just said, don't know it. You can't hear it, and you can't hear the people that's around you that speak the accent the same way you do. But apparently,
I love
Maryland
voices.
People have one.
I tell you though, I love voices though. Like I don't even care half the time what you look like. Like sometimes people's voice. Well, it's like what were we saying? Chester. Is it Bedingfield?
Yes, Bedingfield
from Lincoln Park. Yes. We were saying like there's some people that just have voices that could read the phone book, and people like,
and I totally listen to it.
Kiefer Sutherland is like that for me.
Yes,
Kiefer Sutherland's like that for me. When
I
saw the movie Flatliners.
Yes. I think Jonathan Davis has a very specific voice that and there are people who copied his style, like through the metal world, but when it's Jonathan. Like that whole debacle with the Queen of the Damned movie.
Yes.
And his music, he was recording, something happened, so they had to get a stand-in guy to do the recording for some of the movie parts specifically. He had recorded some, but they ended up not using those. So it's very hard to find the ones that Jonathan Davis did compared to the guy who sounded similar to Jonathan Davis, but I know the difference. Okay. I like the other guy too, but Jonathan Davis' voice is very distinctive. So I knew it wasn't. I'm like, that's not
It is. It's absolutely very distinctive. And that's one of the reasons why I liked him so much back when I first got introduced to Korn back 100,000 years ago.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, absolutely. I like a distinctive voice. And I mean, and I'm not dogging on anyone. Like there are like more bluesy type singers that I like. It's just something about some people just have that sound, that certain something
that your ears like.
Exactly.
That's all it is. It's like your ears like a certain sound. It's not putting anybody else's voice down, but it's like your ears is like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just, well, I mean, Flatliners. What was that in the 90s? I was like 9, maybe. Yeah. And I remember thinking like, wow, he has a really fun voice.
Right.
And with like, this is the dude that had like the spiky mullet from the Lost Boys.
Right.
Don't care. I don't care. I like how you talk.
Exactly.
Not to mention I'm from like the land of the mullets, so I'm kidding.
Yes, the mullet.
Let's see. Okay. Walter de la Mare wrote very dark short stories and poetry, so DL will love his work. Absolutely.
Definitely checking out.
All right. My polluted Baltimore accent. Polluted Baltimore accent.
It's a hot mess. Yeah. Listen, sometimes the stuff be slipping out. I still get on my mom to this day because she can't help it. But she'll be saying zinc, and she talking about the sink. And I'm like, listen, that's a vitamin right now. And I don't know what you try. That's something we need in our body. I don't know what you talking about. You talk about zinc, and she, that's the way she, and she knows it. And she'll still be like saying zinc. And I'm like, so I know exactly. Everybody knows exactly what she talking about, but it's still like funny. It's a Baltimore thing. And I run a cleaning business, and one of our clients, right? He'll be like messing with my mom, trying to dog my mom when she says dog. So she says Doug almost, right? Like, remember, I don't know if you watched the cartoon back in the day, Doug.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny because one of our other clients got a dog they named Doug. And
Oh
so
God.
our client, once I told him that, he was like, "Oh, did they name him that because you was always calling him Doug?" I was like, "Shut up."
Oh my. Oh God, the zinc thing. That's some
Yes.
vibes.
Very, very Baltimorean thing. Like seriously. So it's quite normal. But I like you kind of sometimes when you live a certain place, you like try not to do certain things with the
Yeah,
accent because you know
yeah.
people gonna try to come for you for it.
I love it though. I
I
love it.
think
I
it's
really
cool.
do.
I think
I
it's cool
think
when
it adds
people
so much.
recognize it because one of
Yeah.
woman that I bought like fan veils from, her husband was from Maryland, and I only found that out because I called her on the phone about the order, and she said, "Are you from Maryland?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, how do
Right.
you know that? I didn't tell you my address yet. And she was like, "Because my husband has the same accent as you, and he's from Maryland." I was like, "We have that distinctive of an accent that you can tell."
Right, exactly. Like there's no way. There's no way. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah,
I really couldn't.
it's so interesting though. It really is.
William
Don't be
says, "Don't be
imitating
imitating
accents, right?
it."
Listen.
William, you got a good speaking voice, though. You do. You have a good speaking voice. Let's see. I was in Florida once, and someone overheard me and said, "Oh, okay, MP. You had to spell it like that, didn't you? Oh God."
Oh God.
I love how you sound. I wish I had an accent. I was like, "Well, yeah, you do. I prefer American accents." Well, everybody. I think all of us like what we
All of us.
don't have.
Listen, if I hear a Scottish accent,
Oh,
a
beautiful. They're
accent from
beautiful.
Britain, like Irish, listen, I'm all like,
They're
that's melting
beautiful. They're
very
absolutely
nicely.
Australian. Yeah,
Yes, like
lovely, beautiful.
listen, I love all those. It's so nice.
Spiky mullet or not, Kiefer's always sounded cool AF. I'm into that.
Yeah, true, very true.
Zinc is definitely a Baltimore. I'm never
It
gonna not
is.
think that now. I'm
It
never gonna not.
is.
I'm gonna be in the middle of the freaking Walmart like vitamin aisle, just dying laughing, looking at a bottle of zinc. It's gonna be me. They'll be like, "Look at this weirdo
But they
laughing at
do
zinc."
do it.
I still get dinged for saying Doug instead of dog.
Yeah, man, they try to ding you
John
for it.
Travolta really made fun of our accent in Hairspray.
Yeah, he
Ah,
did.
wow. Oh, I had forgotten about that. I forgot
Yeah, he
about
did.
that. Well, that's okay. I'm pretty sure that the only time that my accent has ever been mentioned in a famous way was probably in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yes.
Because that's
Yes,
where
Silence of the
Clarice
Lambs.
was from, pure West Virginian. Let's see. Weirdly, with the zinc thing, people from where I live now pronounce bus as buzz. I'm from somewhere
Really?
else, so it sounds really exaggerated to me. Hmm.
I mean,
I
'cause
have
everybody
my
has those
words.
words, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
For me, it's usually L's. If I
The
don't
L's
watch my
get you?
L's,
Yeah.
they get real twangy real fast. Yeah, like I know the word is line,
Right.
Line, but if I'm just
Just
I'll say
going
line,
about your way.
I'll say line every time.
I think that's cool. I love it.
Yeah, or elevator.
Oh, that gets you too.
Yeah, because I know it's elevator, but if you catch me talking, I'll
Just
say
talking.
elevator.
Oh, I love it. I love
I'll
it.
say, "Oh, go get on the elevator." Ah, elevator.
Actually, I
Yeah.
had a woman who worked with me at Toys R Us, and she's from Boston. And we all would just want her to say certain things because we would love it. She said
Oh,
she
I
go to
love. Yeah, I love how
she
they
said
say.
party one time and she said car. So she said we said, so can you say you want to have a party in the car? So she was like,
I
I have
love
a
it.
party in the car.
I love
So
it.
we
Yeah, they're
love
awesome.
it. We would just make her say this stuff because it would sound awesome. Way better than what we say, if in my opinion.
Absolutely. I love. They add so much flavor to stuff. And honestly, taking it back, yeah, I think MP and I talked about this about how like one of the parts where I love when my people who come on here read is that I feel like I get it the way it was intended.
Right.
Does that make
Yes.
sense? Like when
Yes.
you read it, I feel like I'm getting it the way it was meant to be heard.
Right,
You know?
exactly. I totally agree with that. So when the writer of the thing reads the thing, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
that's great. Because I got to read one of my it's not out yet, but I got to read it on Barrett Laurie's channel when he was doing like the submissions for CGL, original CGL. And I got to read one of my werewolf stories that I'm writing. And
Yeah.
this one is Lycran from my world, but they are more like the basic style, like well, stand up werewolves, you know.
Mhm.
So I got to read some of that, and everybody was like, kept coming close. I was laughing. Everyone kept coming closer and closer to the screen while I was reading this one part. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, so thrilling!" I think it's different when the writer of the thing reads it because then they can
Absolutely it
give you the
is.
emotion that they meant behind the words.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Well, and you honestly, the only word that I can think of to describe when I hear your voice when you read is it's velvety. your voice comes off as very velvety, and
I love that.
because of like your subject matter, like the sensual nature of your subject matter, it's a beautiful marriage.
Thank you.
It is a beautiful marriage when you read it, because I really don't think. Well, and I mean, we've talked about so many people now. I'm gonna pick on myself. Like, I feel like if I read it, it would be just this pale comparison. It would be like, what is this girl doing? Because your voice adds this the other layer. Well, how did you put it? Butter. It's buttery. There you go, DL. It's buttery.
It's buttery. I've been turned the correct way, maybe, and that's.
No, I love it. I really do. I really, really do.
It's fun. I really like reading
Let's
it. It's fun.
see. Oh, Irish.
Irish, yes.
Aphrodite. Irish accent can talk me into anything.
Right, though? I'll be like, I don't care what you're saying. Some accents just be like, I don't matter.
See,
what
but it's
you're
so
saying.
cool. It's so cool when you like when you are friends with someone and you like them so much that you just ask them questions to hear them talk.
Right.
That's how you know you like them.
Exactly.
Thanks, Pax. Try to guess my accent. Best I've heard is I'm European who studied in the U.S. I can kind of see that, William. Anyone else hear the word elevator and automatically think of the Mitch Hedberg joke? Oh my God, the Mitch Hedberg joke that can never be broken. It only could become stairs. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yes, MP. Do you ever think about when you see a frog in the thing? It's like his 32-ounce world with a stick and a leaf. MP will get that. All right. So Boston guy asked me to play CODs, and I was like, "What the fuck is CODs?" Come to find out, he was cards.
She was like, "What are you saying?"
I was like, "Cards." He played fish.
Oh my goodness!
A beautiful. Y'all, in case y'all just joined the stream, I swear to God, we read poetry.
We have
buttery velvet. That's a phrase I need to a poem. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Buttery velvet. That's exactly what her voice is like. It's true.
Buttery velvet. I have to coin that.
It's true. Well, speaking of, you got another one you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I can read another
Sure.
one. All right, let's see. Actually, let me pull that up. Let's see, where did I put that one? Yeah. Oh, I can do this one. Dark Drips of Insanity.
Oh my God, I love that one. Yeah, I love the title already. Okay, Dark Drips of Insanity. Yes, right. Let's do it.
Dark Drips of Insanity by DL TIllery. Pulse and push your way in. Continue to climb and tear until I give in. In the fading dark, you will sink deeper into ecstasy. It is then you will beg for me. Your eyes will fill with want, yet your completion forever out of reach. There's something I can taste, so feed me in haste. Unlike all the others, you will clench and fold to my grip and hold. Though darkness will forever be my lover, I shall return to you cloaked in shadow and thunder.
Whew, does anyone else need a cigarette? I'm just kidding. I love it. I love it though. I mean that is everything that we were just talking about. Everything we were just talking about.
I like that. That's one of my favorite ones. I really like that one.
It's a sensuality about it. It really is. Without being in your face.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much of that nowadays. Right. There's so much of that nowadays, like in your face kind of stuff. You know, you can turn on anything. And I mean, and I'm not dogging it, you know, to each their own. You can do whatever the hell you want. But it's just there's a certain level of, I feel like, intelligence that goes into it. To not, anybody can be like, look, oh my God, it's boobs. You know, like,
yeah, right, true though.
Yeah, anybody can do that. But, you know, to have like some mystery, there's something intelligent about that. I really do. Goddess help us. I like you already, Aphrodite. I really do. Like, telling you my mind goes down a different avenue. That's why I like you, Aphrodite. I honestly don't ever hear anything related to Mitch Hedberg joke that doesn't make me think of him. My wife is so sick of hearing the duck joke. All right. Gorgeous poem. I agree. I see. Definitely. Yes. Oh my God. MP pulled it out. Cloaked in shadow and thunder. Oh, so good. There's a power there with the thunder and then the mysteriousness of the shadow. It is so good.
They just come to life when I'm writing the poems and the words just lead into each other. So it's kind of just happens. When I wrote that, it was like just leading. And then I tell people their interpretation of what's happening here. It's like, what do you think is occurring?
I like that you don't lead them. You know,
Mm-mm.
to me, that's the perfect way to be with a
Yes.
poem. Like, you're just like, here it
I want
is.
your
You look
interpretation
over
to
it.
be yours. Like I'm not telling you what
Right.
it's about. I want you to. It's not meant to be about specific. I want you
Right.
to get your own interpretation. I want you to see what you see, feel what you feel when you're reading it. So it doesn't
Right.
matter what that is, but it's like do
And
you.
that's so
That's it.
perfect. That is the way I feel like it should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, M's here. Hey, M. We just read some
Hi.
poetry. We've done. Oh, M is another one that you would have got along with. We're big like same music type people too. M, we've already
Cool.
talked about corn. You missed
Yeah,
it.
man.
I'm just kidding.
Corn.
Yeah, yeah. No, M was another one where we could have been like hiding under the bleachers listening to our CD players.
Yes.
Our CD players with the big headphones,
I
not those
know,
little
right?
tiny
You
ones.
can't bug. You got the big.
Yeah, you got
Or
the
the
big
old
like over
black
the ear.
ones that were like cushiony, like
Yeah, the little thing would come off.
right. The thing would. We got walking around with our Walkmans. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Here's
they
some
were
what
like
we're
this big
talking about.
around. You're trying to like shove them into your Jinko jeans.
Exactly right. Like oh my god, the Walkman. Listen,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
tweaking tape.
hmm No, did you ever get the thing where you put the tape in and you like when you first started driving, and because you're close to my age, where you didn't have a car with a CD player, so you
Yes.
get the little tape that you plug in, and then you have your little portable CD player there, so you can play your
Yes.
CDs in the car.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I love that because I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Like I was like my first vehicle because I was
Uh-huh.
a Jeep girl. I always
Huh?
like that thing that you can put on the back of your window. Like Jeep girls like to do it in the mud. I always thought that was
Uh-huh.
cool. And I got me a Jeep, and that was what it had in there. So I used to have to hook my earphone jack into that and run the cassette thing.
Absolutely. I had mine. It would skip.
Yes,
The
of
first car I
course.
ever bought on my own was a tracker, Geo tracker,
Yeah.
and and it would skip. So I had like a beanie that I would plug it in. I'd have to put it in the beanie and then sit it like
We
special in
got
the
tricks. We
passenger
got
seat.
tricks.
Yeah, just so it wouldn't jump. Yeah. Aphrodite says hello, M. All right, MP. Absolutely agree that sometimes the words lead into each other. Sometimes you have to wrestle with them, and those poems usually don't end up as powerful as the ones that flow.
Yes.
I can see that, definitely. It just kind of like pours out.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Art should be a question mark, and a big part of it is the interpretation the audience brings to it.
Yeah.
I like that. Art should be a question mark.
Yeah,
I like that.
it.
I like
I
that
do like that.
phrase.
I do.
You guys are babies.
Yeah, to you. To you,
Is she older?
Aphrodite.
Is she
Yeah,
older than us?
she acts like she's our age. She acts like she's in third because of stuff she likes. But
She had an
Aphrodite is
8-track.
closer to my mother's age. My mom's like about 4 years older than Aphrodite. And Aphrodite's like around in her late 50s. And
Okay.
my
I
mom is
didn't
like
have an 8-track
61.
player. That was before my time. That was
Yes,
before
it
my
was
time.
before our time. You know, but
Mhm.
we can say that now about a lot of things. Like, what's a VHS? What's a VCR?
Until you've had a
Kids
kid
now
come up
don't
to you
know.
and be like, "Why does this phone have a cord on it?" Like,
You
go
be
away.
like, just don't talk to me.
Like, you don't even know. Those were the days.
Those were the days. Phone booths, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Phone
Yeah,
booths.
skipping CDs.
Nowadays
Kids
it'd
don't
be
know how
like what,
easy.
Doctor Who? Being phone booths from Doctor Who.
Yeah, seriously. Like, oh, is that what you mean? I heard. Oh God, what was it? One of those I don't listen to. Maroon 5.
Yeah,
They
Maroon
had
5.
they had released a song that mentioned a phone booth, and I saw an
It
article.
did.
It was talking about like how there was a search increase about people
It
looking up
was.
phone booths, and I was
They
like,
were like, what's that?
they were looking up phone booths.
They didn't know what that was. I mean, that's crazy to me, but they were like,
That
they
is
didn't know
insane to
what we
me. I'm
talking
like,
about.
what?
They know what we talking about.
Let's see. I'm almost 60 according to Muggles, but but in actuality, I'm 27.
Yeah, she's 27 forever. She's immortal. Every time her birthday on her cake's 27. She hasn't aged since 27.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. It's her prerogative to age.
That's right.
Well, my God, this has been fantastic. Those of you who are just joining us, you guys really need to go back and listen to it, because I had no idea just how multifaceted our guest is here today.
Yeah,
oh my God, between the dancing and the music, and oh my gosh, like seriously, it's just that you are endlessly fascinating, and I can really start to see how a lot of this kind of plays in to your work for sure.
It definitely is integrated into all the stuff.
Well, I think you've done a really good job of like putting a lot of your passions into various avenues.
Thank you.
I really do. I really do. I can see. Well, I mean, to me, the most glaring one is the dancing and the sensual nature of the poems. Like I can see that coming together beautifully.
Yeah, the dancing.
I really do.
I kind of like to do, and when I integrate my writing into my dancing, I like to tell stories while I'm dancing. So usually people are trying to interpret, say, what is she doing? I actually did a dance video based off the Wizard of Oz, and I
Really?
did all the costumes for the different characters. So in the video, of course, I had to do the editing. So I edit the story. It starts off with Wendy, so of course it's black and white, and then
Hmm.
I change the color, fade into color. And the rainbow was a veil, because in belly dance you do veil dances. So you have like the full size veils and you have like fan veils.
Right.
So I had a full size veil for the rainbow, and I had Wendy's outfit on that I made for me, and then it fades right into the Wizard of Oz. So then I had the Wizard of Oz costume that I made based off in belly dance and stuff, and then I had the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion there, of course, and the Tin Man. So I had to make
Wow.
outfits for all of them. So that's a nice one that I did, was like the story of Wizard of Oz, and I used I sang the song from The Wizard of Oz, Over the Rainbow by Julie
Hmm.
Garland. So I sang that when I danced to my singing of it, and then the second song was what is his name? He did a Wizard of Oz song. Um, what is he's a black artist, but he is, what is his name? I cannot remember his name right now, but it's on YouTube. Thank you,
I was going
Aphrodite.
to say, did Aphrodite just get it,
Yeah,
Todrick
Tordic
Hall? Okay.
Hall,
Okay.
and he did a whole song. And the way he sings, I just can't. So I had to dance on this version of it for the rest of the story. So that's kind of how I do my performances. The song, and then I will kind of like dance a story. I've done that quite a few times.
I
So
love
my
that.
writing kind of integrates into my dance that way because of the storytelling that's involved in it. Like I told you about the Halloween one with the sorceress, and then one of the other my Halloween dances that I did recently was the red sorceress. So it was kind of like, different worlds happening at the same time.
Yeah, because I could see like your ability to like make your own characters and your own backgrounds and worlds and stuff
Yeah.
kind of bleeding into that as well. I
So I
love that.
really, really like that.
No, I think that just absolutely fantastic.
It's
Let's
fun.
see. Now that they've been mentioned a few times, I think we can all appreciate that some of the best poetry of the last few decades has come from singers like Jonathan Davis, Corey Taylor, and Lane Stanley. Yeah,
Yes, I will
I think
definitely
so.
agree.
I part of what, and I know people who my dead poets who tune into this, they get it, but
Yes.
I know everyone's like, poetry live stream. You sure as hell spent a long time talking about corn and shit. Well,
It's a
uh,
mixture. You get to kind of know like poets' minds, I
well,
think. And that's why
exactly.
the show is very interesting too, because yes, we are here for the poetry, but to get to know the poet's mind can actually help you understand what you've been reading
Well,
and
I also
listening to.
wanted this to be, to me, poetry is one of the biggest celebrations of how beautiful language is.
Yes, I
And there's
agree.
a lot of iterations of that.
Yes.
Music, there are passages, I mean, and I've done it on not with a guest, but I've done it with the streams by myself, the few I've
Yes.
done, where like you'll be reading something. It's kind of like how I got this. You'll be reading just a story, and
Yeah.
the way an author puts together the words in a
Yes.
passage, it takes your breath away. And I
Right.
love
Agree.
that. I love
Yes.
that feeling. And to me, poetry is a wonderful showcase of that in a
Yes.
lot of ways. And so,
Agree.
yes, I completely agree with him, P, because, I remember, and I hope that kids still have this,
Yes.
um,
So
that when they listen to music, that they hear things that are going to stick with them
yes.
into their adulthood, because it's happened to me. There were songs that I listened to in my little emo
Yeah.
days, that I still love
Yeah.
because of the words and the emotion that they gave me at the time. And I
Yes.
truly hope that that happens to everyone. No, Book Blather, you did not miss it. We've just been chatting. You're good.
Got my hands like, what's that or something?
I'm so blessed to have her as a real life friend. You guys have no idea how truly amazing this woman is. See, like I
Yeah.
said, I just like you because you're
Thank
supporting your
you.
friends, Aphrodite.
I love Aphrodite.
Well, I mean, that's the type of that's the type of friend you want in your life. We'd be very
Definitely.
lucky if all of us could do that for one another. World would be a much better place. Any last minute recommendations for modern poets from DL? Any recommendations for
Ooh,
people?
modern poets. Actually, yes, I did have some modern ones that I recently actually came across. Let me pull that up because I want to make sure I remember people's names right.
Oh, oh my God. You say you have no idea. I'm so bad at that.
Like
That's
I'm
why I'm
trying to
like, it'll be linked down
remember.
below. It'll be linked down below. That's what I always say.
Right? Yeah, you have to do that. Like definitely. So I always try to remember people's names, but I literally hate to to butcher names or be like, I think that was their first name.
I just did a video on, he was, I think he's Polish. And I was
Yeah.
like, I tried. And I was like, here, this is what it looks like. I am so sorry. I tried.
I think there is where are they? Yes, I
Oh,
have pulled
lyrics
up
are
a list.
poetic as well.
They
Yes.
are. That's what I really listen to, lyrics and stuff because of
Lyrics are
that.
definitely poetry. Yes.
Yes,
Uh, oh, well,
definitely.
thank you. Thank you, MP. Been an awesome and insightful live stream. Needing to get the whole DL TIllery collection ASAP. Everything I've read so far has been awesome. I personally am looking forward to that dark romantic collection that you were talking about. I want to get my hands on that.
Yes. What I like to do is I like to go online and I like to look for just like lists of different poets, and they may not necessarily be fully on published other places besides just on the internet. And I like to just go and read different ones and see,
Hmm.
what they have. And this is one
Right.
I came across, like it was probably like 10 months ago. And I don't want to butcher her name, but I think she is from India, maybe. And her name is Ralia Misera.
Oh,
And it's the
beautiful.
name of the poem is called "The Dark Dungeons of My Mind." I'll have to like the spelling. I'll put the spelling of her name in the chat so that
Okay.
way people can because I'm totally going to butcher it. Like, there's no,
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like, 'cause
I got
names are a beast. Let's just admit, like, because they
they
are.
can be. They can be.
They,
And there's so many beautiful ones that, I mean, I really truly hate to butcher them.
I
You know,
really do. I really
and
don't like
they're
to do
so
that.
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like I'm gonna
Oh,
put their
hey,
name.
SC Martin said I would definitely buy a collection of DL Taylor's poems and her short stories. There you
Yes,
go.
I plan to put it out, so I'm working on that. Everyone, it's coming.
Aphrodite,
Sorry.
you're good with Polish? Really? Oh,
Her
that's
school
cool.
that she went to when she was younger was predominantly Polish.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, that makes
That's
sense.
why.
That makes sense. You got
Yeah,
used to having to say the names.
yeah. So she could say that. I was big more into Asian culture, so Japanese, and I'm learning Korean right now.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I
That is
have.
a beautiful language. And
Yes,
so
it
they're
is.
a wonderful, I have a lot of interactions with South Korea. So they're a wonderful, wonderful culture. Very,
Yes.
very beautiful people.
See, I think I can probably put this in the chat from over here. She has one poem that I really like. That one I just named. I don't put her name so you can look her up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure
And
everybody would love to know.
yeah,
We got to, and again, everybody, thank you so much. We got 11 people watching right now. That's so cool.
yeah.
And
Thanks everyone.
all of you are here and all of you tuning in after the fact.
Okay.
Well, we are just about at an hour and 17 minutes. And I do are you familiar with Steve Talks books, Deal?
I'm not sure. I don't. I'm not,
He does a lot of lives, and I
yeah.
always say he always says, well, we want to be respectful of people's time, and I'm like, I like that. I should I always say that. And in the spirit of Steve Talks books, I do like to be respectful of people's time, even though I could stay here all day,
Yeah.
especially talking about music and whatnot. Uh, so yeah, there we
There's
go.
a name. I put it in the chat. But I'll read a little bit of her poem here
Absolutely, yeah,
called "The
yeah.
Dark Dungeons of My Mind." And it says, "The dark dungeons of my mind, they invite me to the depths and darkness, and lure me with the comfort of my shadows. Stillness is all around, the ground beneath, icy yet warm. Here is just you and me and our own carnal forms." Like, just that whole, just
In
that
our
little
own
part. And
carnal
it's,
forms.
yes. So I like that. I thought that was very good. And it's longer. I just didn't want to read her whole thing, but there is another one on there on the same website, another one person that must be submitting, and that person is called Silver Morningstar, which I'm sure Mr. Morningstar can appreciate that.
I'm sure he will.
And that one's called Forbidden Love.
Hmm.
And it goes, "His heart of shadowed night, a dying world bathed in light. Falling into this world, she fell, beautiful and cold like snow as well. She was broken and lost in a world unknown. She knew not so different from her own. with broken wings and shattered halo, a falling star with a dying wish. The shadow came before death, willing as made to sacrifice. For love cheated death 1,000 times. Not even fate could cut their ties. Forbidden love fell into the sands of time. So
Oh,
I thought that was very good. And that person again is Silver Morning Star, which is very, very good. I don't know their
yeah,
actual name, but I'll give you the link to the website.
sure,
See if I
absolutely.
could get that
That
because
gives me, because there's so much like theology, I feel like, that goes into
yes,
that, like about the fall of Lucifer and whatnot. Like I got that.
yes,
That might just be me reading into it. But that puts me in mind of are you familiar with any of Nim's poetry that she
yes,
does? That puts me in mind of a lot of Nim's poetry. Like she
yes,
has some poetry that has some influences like that. Yeah,
yeah, no,
there were some lines in that that made me think of Nim.
yes. So I
James is here.
really,
Hey,
you can
James.
find some really cool like unknown poets online. Like it's
That's
just
how I came
do
upon
a
Essie
search,
Martin's. I found her on.
right?
Yeah. That's how I came upon her. Saw the cover of the book and fell in love. So yeah, that's I completely. I do the same exact thing. You can find some amazing people like that.
And then like they're so hidden and we don't know about them. That's why I always like to try to find people that are like indie. That's for sure. You know.
Hey, MP mentioned Rob Zombie. We talked about that behind the scenes too. MP, she likes Rob Zombie too.
Yes. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
listening to Rob Zombie when they were White Zombie back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what?
You could do. You should do a dance for like Living Dead Girl. I always thought that would be. I
I,
can't.
I'm
I
trying to
don't.
remember. I think I did. I think I've done it already.
Oh, you should. Oh, see, I would love that. I can do things like that in my head, but I don't think I can make it translate quite so well. So yeah, I could see Living Dead Girl being a beautiful
Right?
um, performance
It
with
is a
the
good
right.
song to do. I've seen quite a few people do it too. It's like, oh, all the metal music is like, yes. So I'm putting the link down in the chat for people.
Absolutely,
If you
yeah,
want to check out the poetry on this, so yes, that is some of the ones I've come across as of recent this year that are very good.
absolutely. I'm sure everybody would be wonderful with that. And if you want, you can always, if you want to throw that in a comment under here, I can pin it too
Yeah.
after the fact. That way, just in case anybody misses or sometimes they skip through and might miss something in the chat.
Yes.
All right, well, guys, in the last few minutes, any quick questions before we tie it up here? Anybody? We got 14 people watching. Anybody have any questions for DL? Anything like that? Anything you want to know? That I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff. So, God,
We did. We did talk about a lot of stuff.
I mean, while we're waiting on them, though, you are an absolutely inspiring human being. You
Thank you.
really are. You are an absolutely inspiring human being,
Thank
just in
you.
so many ways. You
Thank
really are.
you.
I liked you before. I like you even more now. So,
Thank you. I like you as well. I was like, when I actually came across you, which is crazy because algorithm again. Like
of
I came
course,
across you because of lurking in the dark,
right,
and I
right.
was like, you were talking about it. I'm like, who's Pax Panic? And I was like, what? And I went on your channel. I'm like, what? How did I miss this gothic queen? What is happening here?
Oh, you're too
Right?
sweet.
And I
Thank
was like,
you.
what? So I had to subscribe, of course, right away, and then started checking out some of your stuff, and I was like, you
Oh,
know
thank
what,
you.
YouTube, you're not helpful at all.
Yeah, I know, right? It's happened like I don't know, 3 or 4 times in the past couple of months. It happened with you. It happened with Voices of the Mausoleum, Batter's Rad. It happened with her because I found her and I was like, she's got like 900 subs. Why the hell haven't I not seen her? Because
Right?
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
Happy.
That's
Oh, Nim, happy to have found this amazing author.
thank you.
All right, yeah,
Aphrodite being
James.
funny.
James is a huge yeah. Do you would like because you're into music? James is
Yes, James.
amazing.
Actually, I came across James. He's actually subscribed to my channel now, and I subscribed to his. Yes, the music thing, and
Yeah,
definitely. So
he
yeah,
doesn't do any cuts or anything, which terrifies
which
my
is
ass.
cool,
Yeah, I
right?
know it would terrify me, and
Like
because I'm sitting here my
scary.
1 minute poetry videos, and I'm like, nope, click, delete, delete.
Redo.
And James is like, nope, this is just me, and I love that. Talk about talent.
I do love the rawness of that. Like when I record my I do singing on the Star Maker app, and I'm like when I record, I'm listening to the song, and then I would record it. I'm like, oh, let's do that again. Got a little bit of ing going on in the voice right there. You got to redo that. Let's drink some water. Let's get some lemon in there.
Well, James, we've been talking about everything from music on down to poetry, about how
Literally.
accents lend themselves so well to different words and
words.
all
They
kinds of
really do.
stuff. Let's see. Can I get a bio card of Duncan?
She's so
That's our
funny. She's
question.
obsessed with Duncan Winterwolf. She's like obsessed with him. She's so funny.
Oh, MP. Okay. How long do you keep poems going and editing them before discarding them, if ever?
I don't think I've ever discarded a poem actually.
Oh, really?
I
That's cool.
will while writing a poem, I go back and read it after I wrote it. And then that will tell me if I need another word somewhere or if I need to add another course or something to it. Like
So do you
I
go by like the sound, like as you're
yes,
reading it?
how
Okay.
the words flow, I can tell if there was something missing. I can tell if
Mhm.
there was a word that was missing in there. And that's usually like that's the only type of editing I do to it. I keep all my poems as I think their own. So at the minimum, they just need to have a little bit more potatoes and dessert added.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, a little bit more potatoes and dessert. I'm stealing that. Oh, I love that.
Steal it all you want.
That's gonna pop up randomly in a video. I can feel it now. I'm gonna be doing a review like, yep, this book had a lot of potatoes, and people are gonna be like, what the hell is she talking about? It's gonna happen. I need to find you all in sub. Oh, well, thank you. There's some
Yes.
amazing people. There really are. Oh my gosh, literally anybody who has been mentioned, anybody who is in the chat right now who has a channel, worth a sub. Let's see.
I'm gonna put the link to that website in our private chat so you can get it because I don't think it's
Okay.
gonna let me because
Okay.
it didn't show up when I did it. So it's like, listen, you're not Pax Panic. What do you think you're doing? I'm like, I'm sorry. I
Hey,
didn't know. All
hey,
right.
I'm fine. We're lucky. This is the first time I think that there has been like literally nothing go wrong. So
Oh,
what is this, like my fourth one? So yeah, we're good.
I'm bringing some luck here. I'm bringing some
You
luck here.
are indeed. All right, let me
That
copy.
website has a few, those two on there, and it has some other ones on there. So that's a good read for some indie poets.
There we go. There we go.
And that's some recent stuff. I think the one is 10 months ago, and the other one's like a year ago. So it's
Oh,
not
it's
even
not
that
too
old.
terribly far back.
Yeah, it's not too far back.
Okay, MP, when you read poetry yourself, do you read it to yourself like a novel or out loud? I tend to read poetry out loud.
Yes. I tend to read it out loud just so I can hear the flow of the words to my ears. Even
See,
though
it's a full body experience at
it
that
is, you
point.
gotta
Yeah.
feel it. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel if
yeah.
I feel it, then I'm like, okay, if I can feel it and the words flow and I'm seeing a vision in my head of the words coming to life, then I think that can connect with other people too. So I definitely like to read it out loud after I've written it. So yeah.
Yeah, I really I agree with you. There's a different layer that happens. Not that I've
Yeah.
never not read it to myself. I have,
Yeah, of
but
course.
there's another layer that
Yeah, there
happens through
is.
poetry when you do it
With the
like
out
that.
loud reading, you can learn a lot, and that's implemented into just writing your novels as well. When you think like this sounds so good, and then you'll read out loud, you're like, yeah, no,
Like, wow, this is so not what I wanted to
this
say.
is not what I wanted to sound like. It's not working. So sometimes out loud, I even have like when I'm writing my novels, I have the computer read back to me,
Yeah,
just so I can
I've
hear.
heard about that method.
That's part of my method of when I'm doing my
Well,
whole
you can
system of
proof.
editing too.
Uh-huh.
I let it read to me, even though it's just going to read. I put mine to use like a British accent actually, and I let it read to me, so I can hear it. Because you have to realize you're writing poetry or in your novel writing, you're in your head. You're
Right,
in
right.
that story. It may have sounded good to you, but
Does it really
does
translate
it though?
outside
Like
of
so
yeah.
having the computer even read its robotic way in some cases, and they gotten better with AI now, so it sounds pretty flowy. It can help you hear that, okay, that didn't sound right. Because you come in at the perspective as a reader. And you're like, okay, I can hear that. If I was reading this, I would be like, no, that's not working. Oh, that doesn't sound right. And then you can go back and rework it what
Right.
you think.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of benefit to that. A whole lot of benefit.
definitely.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Aphrodite, you can't tell your story wrong. So
You
many
can't.
quotable comments today. I love
Yes.
that.
You
You
can't.
cannot tell your story wrong. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a beautiful place to end it. You can't tell your story wrong. I wish I'd known that. I put it in the title.
Right? That's a good
Oh,
one.
see, okay. She said that's so interesting. Never considered having the computer read it back.
Yeah,
Cool.
try it. It's really good. Even with your poetry, if you want to, you can do that too. But like
Yeah.
just with anything, because it's interesting to hear it, and that's also like we can catch our mistakes too, because we
Right.
don't
Yeah, no,
see those
it's a proofing
mistakes.
method. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
studied
we don't
that.
see those mistakes because literally you can read the same page how many times and be like, yeah, this is together. This is
You're
done. You're like,
reading your language because it
how
came from your head. So
how
you're
is this
reading it in your
typo
language.
here? That's
Yeah.
not the word I meant. Like it happens.
Right. Well, again, DL, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you.
an incredibly enjoyable experience, and I'm sure
So
that
fun.
everybody that is watching now and in the future will agree. So, yeah, you really are an inspiring human being, and I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you're sharing that with the rest of the world.
I can't wait to get the poetry collection out so everyone can read all
Oh
of
my
that.
gosh, yes,
And of
please.
course, check out Beneath
Lurking
the
in the
Dark
dark,
in here.
yes. Check us out.
In
We're
there.
a
And
shameless
Tax is
plug.
in there. You gotta check it out.
Shameless plug for our book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
there
We
really
ain't got no
are
shame over here.
there really are some amazing things in there. That is one
Definitely.
kick-ass collection. It
Yes.
really is. There is some amazing stuff in there, and I think there's something for everyone in there,
That's
from
the whole
bloody
point to
on
get a
down.
good anthology together. It
Right.
definitely
Regina
is.
did an amazing job, I feel
Yep.
like. Oh,
Different flavors.
Anthony. Everyone, yeah, definitely. Thank you all. You know, and I mean, I know DL will agree with me. Uh, without people like everybody who watches, everybody who comments, that means the world to all of us too.
Yes,
It really
definitely.
does.
Took time out
Yeah,
your life to look and pay attention and listen to us. So we
absolutely.
appreciate
Yeah.
you for sure. 100.
Anybody who's ever anybody who's ever so much as clicked on one of our videos, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, being grateful is a big key. So
Yes, definitely.
all right. Well, guys, again, thank you. Please, I will, of course, give me a hot second once we finish this, and I will have all of like DL's info and stuff as much as I can down the bottom. You got to go check her out. Lurking in the Dark, check that out. Shameless plug for all of my friends here on HorrorTube. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, again, bye, guys. Thank you all for joining us.
See ya.